This is Danny Flexen here for Seconds Out. Delighted to be joined for the first time by the IBF super middleweight champion of the world, Caleb Plant. Caleb, how are you doing?
Doing well, sir. Thank you for having me.
Oh, anytime, more than welcome. How's 2020? I know we're in 2021 now. I haven't gone crazy, but how's 2020 been for you? You built up some real momentum. You obviously got out at the very start of the year, and then the pandemic shut everything down. Has it been frustrating at times?
Um, yeah, like you said, started off the year really well with a hometown fight. Got you know, a dominant performance, stopped him, had a lot of views. And then when COVID hit and kind of, like you said, shut everything down. And at times it was frustrating, because I was expecting a big year, and it kind of slowed me down, but it slowed a lot of us down. So, at that point, it's just about being able to adapt and overcome and just adjust as needed. And, it's hurt a lot of us. So.
You've got Caleb Truax on January the 30th, so you get a chance to come right out of the gate this year and make a real impression, remind people just how good you were looking before the pandemic.
Yeah.
Do you think in the wider world, not by yourself, but other people are sleeping on Caleb Truax a little bit?
I mean, I'm not sure. I can't really speak for everybody else, but as for me and mine, Truax, he's a former world champion. He's upset some people before who didn't take him serious, and you won't find me in that same boat. So this is not somebody that I'm overlooking or looking past, but I am looking through him, and I'm looking to go out there January 30th and put on a dominant performance and not only look well, but stop him within the 12 rounds, whether that's him and his team throwing the white towel or I throwing the white towel for him, or make the ref step in and do his job. So I feel like he's in over his head, but he is my mandatory. We wanted to do back-to-back mandatories. That way it would leave me a year's free worth and open of unification fights to make. The IBF is strict with their mandatories, and they're usually the only sanctioning body that will not waive mandatories for bigger fights. So I wanted to go ahead and get this one out of the way as well. That way, like I said, I'll have a year's free worth, clear to make big unification fights and fights that people want to see.
Yeah, it's a very sensible approach. I wanted to ask, I read something earlier, you have to clarify it for me. Apparently there was a tweet that Truax sent out a number of years ago when you were still on your way up in the game that you weren't entirely pleased with. Just tell us what that was and if it still feeds into your motivation for this one.
Absolutely. That's been one of my biggest motivations in this training camp, and I haven't forgot about it. It was a while ago, back in 2016, and when I seen it, I screenshot it and just kept it in my back pocket and thought at some point, I may be using this, and just in case our paths ever crossed, I wanted to keep it so I could remind him of the mistake that he made. So yeah, just him. It was my 11th fight, and him saying, it's already the first round, and I'll already hope he gets knocked out, and there's only room enough for boxing for one Caleb, and just silliness, things that don't even. Just goofy stuff. So I'm looking forward to reminding him here soon of what he said. And just next time he should keep his mouth shut.
Now, obviously, aside from producing the goods in the ring, your profile in the past couple of years seems to have really skyrocketed. What's the secret behind that? Is it just what you do in the ring, or have there been efforts outside the ring to build your fan base as well?
Of course, first and foremost, you got to handle your business inside the ring. But I think it's just, I feel like a lot of people have taken to me and just appreciated not only my story, but just feeling like I'm myself. I think if you're true to yourself and you remain yourself, people can sense that. And, we live in a generation, in a society where people aren't themselves and don't like to stay true to themselves, but they still respect someone who does. So I feel like I've stayed true to myself. I am who I am. There's some people who like it. There's some people who don't. But, I don't do what I do, and I'm not, I don't act how I act for people who won't like it. I do it for people who will like it. So I would just, I think it's just being myself and handling business in the ring.
And being very accessible as well. I think, you've shared your story with people. It's not just that you've had kind of a hard luck story. Anyone would say that, but you've been open about it and the lessons taken from it as well.
Yeah.
I wanted to ask the kind of tragic side of it, and you've experienced more than your fair share of personal tragedy. I think that's been well documented. How hard has that been for you at times, not just to suffer it, but to share it with the world as you've become more in the spotlight?
Um, you know, I feel like I'm a bit more reserved about it now. When it first happened, there was just so much, I don't know, just rage and anger and frustration and just I couldn't even tell you all the emotions, that come with that. But that just, I couldn't even contain it, and I know that it's easy for the media to want to hear about that and want to know about it. And I couldn't even contain those emotions. So I would speak on it and talk about who I'm doing it for. But I feel like, as you said, that's been so well documented that I don't really want to continue to just, speak on that in any interview and all the time. So, but it's definitely, made me motivated. It's made me hungry. And, I've used that for fuel to the fire to go out and, leave my footprint in the world.
Obviously, after what you've just said, I don't want to labour the issue. So I just wanted to ask one more thing on that, in that for people out there that don't know, you, of course, tragically lost your daughter at 19 months old and then your mother a couple of years ago. How much do those personal tragedies still feed into your motivation that you're doing it not just for yourself, but for their memory also?
Um, yeah, I mean, it's a big motivation factor. It's something that I use. And yeah.
All right, appreciate that. Now, moving on, I know you don't want to look past Caleb Truax, very tough fighter, used to hold the belt that you, of course, have in your collection now. But people are talking about you against Canelo as a fight they very much want to see in 2021. It's come close twice already, in May and December last year. Looked to be Billy Joe Saunders back in May before the pandemic hit. And then you were really up for the fight in December, if I'm correct. Is that right? But it was just an issue with PBC and Canelo; they couldn't come to terms.
Um, it is a fight that I wanted, and it's a fight that I was ready for. Anyone who follows me, they've been seeing me work throughout the whole pandemic. They know I'm a disciplined fighter. They know that I keep my weight in check. But my manager, Luis DeCubis, he felt like with 5 weeks to go and only 4 weeks to train, that for a fight of that magnitude, that it, probably wouldn't be the best move. And I really respect that. And at the end of the day, I agree with that, and I'm glad that we made that move. Because the fight's still going to happen. I'm saying it'll happen. Canelo's saying it'll happen. Our teams will saying it'll happen. So, you guys can rest assured that the Canelo fight will happen. But, that would have been not only a big payday for me, but for him as well. So for him to be looking past that and to be looking out for, my best interest, I really respect that about Luis. And, the fight's going to happen. So, I know people are sweating us and pushing and pushing and pushing, but everybody just needs to relax and calm down. The fight's going to happen. So,
And when you saw Canelo's performance against Callum Smith, did you feel kind of reaffirmed Luis de Cubas's decision in the first place? Because Callum Smith didn't have a long build-up either, just as Sergei Kovalev hadn't in Canelo's previous fight, and fell to a clear defeat.
I don't know how much more a full camp would have done for him. But I know he is a big frame. It may have made it easier for him to make weight and, things of that matter. But it did kind of, reassure what we said, and what we thought was the best move. So
when you look at the style matchup between yourself and Canelo, what do you think would be the keys to victory for you in that fight?
I don't really think there's anything specific. I just need to go out there and be myself. I feel like that I have all the tools necessary to get my hand raised in that fight and in a much easier fashion than people think. So again, I've said it before. I'm going to say it again. I feel like I'm the best super middleweight on the planet. So anybody who steps in at 168 pounds, I put them behind me. So whether that's Canelo, whether that's any middleweights moving up or anybody in the weight division now, I feel like that I'm the best super middleweight that this division has to offer. So I feel like it's just about being myself and going in there and just, doing what I do best.
How keen are you to unify all four major belts at 168? And in the current boxing climate, how likely is that to happen?
Well, when I first started boxing, that was, and coming up through the rankings, that was my goal, to become the first undisputed super middleweight. So, you know, I know Canelo, he's got a couple of belts. Billy Joe's got a belt. I'm not sure if they're fighting or what they got going on, but that's my goal. So before it's all said and done, that's what I plan on being. I'm going to be in the super middleweight division for a while. I'm not moving up anytime soon. So, you know, that's my goal, is to stay here until I make it happen.
Before I let you go, we'll end on something of a lighter note. A lot of people are referring to you and your wife as boxing's power couple. I just wanted to ask how you feel about it, because you're a very down-to-earth guy.
I mean, you know, that's really cool of people to say. You know, we just love boxing. So, you know, with her reporting on Fox and some of the pay-per-views that she's done, I fight. My dad's one of my boxing coaches. My stepmom is, you know, that's all she talks about and does is boxing. So we're really just a boxing family. That's all we do. That's all we've done. And my sisters and, you know, my stepmom's kids, they love boxing as well. So that's really all we do. So it's nice of people to say that. I feel like that we're getting some good stuff done in the sport, and, you know, just hopefully setting a trend that, you know, of a power couple and what you can do, you know, if you work as a team. And not only what you can accomplish, but, you know, the things that you can get in life, you know, nice things. So that's nice people to say.
Great stuff. Well, I know you've got a busy schedule, so I'm going to let you crack on, but I really appreciate your time, and I hope you'll come back onto Seconds Out at some point in the future.
Yes, sir. Yeah, let's make it happen.
All right, great stuff. Take care. Bye-bye.
Yes, sir. Thank you.